Hello everybody, welcome back to another YouTube video here on my channel. And today I decided to do a little tutorial here in this thing you might have seen before. And it's called the BAE 146 and somebody calls it the Avro, I believe it is. I'm not too sure about that, to be honest, but here is that in the Flybe um, livery. And we are sat here at the London City Airport, which you can see some kind of skylines of London here in the distance. And if you want to pick this aircraft up, if you decide to pick it up, if you seem to like it, I will link it in the description of the video below. So today I will kind of go through the startup procedure and get the engine started, and then I think we'll do a quick takeoff and stuff. I am not a real pilot and I do not have any sort of real knowledge, so this is kind of the way I do it. It's most likely not the right way to start it up, but I mean I get the engine started, so it's probably fine. So without further ado, we shall just jump inside the cockpit and then we'll get it programmed. And one more thing I want to say is this is some beautiful scenery here of London City, and I will also link this in the description below if you would want to pick it up. So yeah, let's just jump inside the cockpit here. So when you are in the cockpit, you can see that, well, it's all just kind of an analog cockpit, quite complicated. So it also comes with a model cabin and stuff. I mean, it's not a review, this is kind of just a tutorial, so we'll get it fired up, which is most likely why I clicked on this video. So you can go up to the overhead panel, which you can see is relatively, I mean, for me at first it was kind of intimidating because many of it looks the same with, these kind of similar white switches and stuff like that. And I will kind of go through it step by step, and I will just turn on the sim sounds. I'll kind of go through it kind of step by step, but I'm not a real pilot, so I do not have any sort of flows with this aircraft. As you can see here, we've got some avionic stuff, like the avionics master A and B, and here is some lift spoiler, hydraulics, lift spoiler type stuff, and some anti-skid. I've got the hydraulic panel, and down here is your fuel panel. Right here, here's your electrical panel. Here's your AP panel. Here is your engine panel where you start your engines. This is where the magic happens on this panel right here. You got some ice protection or anti-ice for your engines. Up here is some light controls. Normally we turn on the logo light and stuff like that. Beacon and strobe we can turn off. That for now. Nav light can stay on. Here we got some air conditioning control, and here is some more packs and stuff like that, and some more air controls. Here's some more ice protection and screen heat and stuff like that. So yeah, when you get to know the aircraft, it's a relatively basic aircraft to wrap your head around. So what you first want to do is look for your batteries, which is here on your electrical panel. You can see bat 1 and bat 2. So they're right now in the off position because we've got no power to the aircraft. We turn these two guys on, 1 and 2, and you can hear the aircraft kind of powering to life. And so you then want to go down here to your EFB, go to your aircraft option, and then you hit open. By the way, one more thing, as you can see I just removed the yoke by hitting this lever right here. I like to just have it away because in my personal opinion I think the yoke is a bit too big for my liking. And then you can also click on this card here to get rid of the EFB. We don't want that now. So we want to go into the aircrafts menu, and then you can see when the kind of button is illuminated in green, it means that I'm not really sure how to say this, but then you have it. So right now we do not have any sort of ground power to the aircraft. So you can then hit the ground power, then it will turn green, and then you'll have a little GPU ground power unit here at the bottom. So to get power from the GPU, you want to go here to the panel, XR8C, and then you will turn that to on. And now you can see the aircraft even comes more to life with some avionic sounds. So what you then, if you go down here to your main view, you can see that all your kind of analog instruments are just all over the place, and you do not have, and to get these normal, if you will, you want to turn on the avionics. So to do this, you can go ahead and we'll turn on the avionics. Then we can go ahead and we'll turn on the yaw dampers. And then what I also do is I'll just go through the flow here, and you can follow along. What I want to do, I'll turn on all of these switches up here. I then go with the auto spoiler, yellow and green diff spoilers. I can turn my brake fans to auto. Engine pumps, we can turn on those two guys. These are our hydraulics. You can turn on your DC pump, auto, and PTU control can come on. Right here you got your fuel panel. You can go ahead and we'll turn number 1, or the left outer, the left inner, the right inner, and the right outer. We'll turn those guys on. And then we wanna, and right now, I am not going to go through any sort of FMC or any sort of guidance of how to navigate with the aircraft, basically. So I've chose the FMC here. It's kind of basic and stuff. It's very similar to every other FMC, so that's something I'll go through today. So I want to start at the APU. Starting up the APU is very, very simple. You just gotta make sure you have your fuel pumps on, and then you can just hit start. And then you can see your RPM rising, and then you get an APU gen avail right here. Or maybe it's here. I mean, I'm not a real pilot, so, and I haven't flown this in a long time. You can see down here you can see what sort of things you've enabled with your autopilot, etc, etc. And so here it shows yaw damper, so we can go down to the panel down here, which is the center console, and then you got your yaw dampers, or your yaw damper down here. You can see YD, you can select that yaw damper 1 and 2, so that is on, and the light will basically turn off, if you will. Here you also got your autopilot switch. Here's some other autopilot, pitch down, pitch up, sort of. Here's your squawk code, etc. I won't really go through that. I will kind of just get ourselves going here. So you can now see you've got your APU available. Then you want to go down here to your gens, and then you want to turn on your APU gen. And you can still see APU gen offline, which is because you've got power from the GPU. And to get rid of that, you just flick this thing up. And you can see that light stops illuminating, I think is the right word to use. And you can get rid of your ground power. And we can also get rid of our chocks because we're turn ready to push here. So I will take off in this video, kind of show you how I would do that. I would just get rid of the EFP because we don't really need it. And one more thing I want to say is in the aircraft controls, this is where you load your aircraft. So say I would do now a flight from London City here over to Dundee, which is further north, and then I had a surf fuel weight of 33 tons. What I would then do is I would just hit kind of the square here, and then I could write, you gotta go like that, then we want to do 33,000, and hit enter, and suddenly your surf fuel weight is 33 tons. And then you can also load your fuel, gross weight, empty weight, etc. Then you'll get your CG here. You can also change your units here from kilograms to pounds. I prefer kilograms because I'm from Europe, so um, that's what I like to do. Um, Also, for to get your engine started, you want to have your APU air on to have air supply for the engine. Since we're soon ready to go here, we can turn on our beacon light, which shows all the people on the ground that we're soon ready to start up. For passengers, we can turn on our no smoking to on and our seatbelt and our fasten seatbelt sign on. Here, that's a ding dong. I also put this switch here from shed over to galley. They can make some coffee in the back. Our aircraft is currently now ready for startup, and yes, we'll push back. And one more thing, to turn on your radio stacks, you just flip the switch here to on. You can see it does like a little self-test thing. So for me, I would go on Unicom 122.8. Just like that, and then you flip it over so it shows green, which is then the active frequency. To push back, I'm just gonna use the command Shift P. So you can see it's starting to push. I will then release my parking brake, which in this case is right here, so I just press it. And now we're pushing back. So to get our engine started, go up to your overhead panel. You want to turn on your master start. Then you want to select the engine you want to start. In this case, I want to start with engine number 4. But before we do that, I want to stop the pushback because we don't really have a lot of space here. So I just might do that. So to get the engine started, you turn on your start master switch, and then you select your start selection. I'm sorry, I can't really talk today, but you want to put your start selector on the engine you want to start. And I don't really have a flow here. I just go for engine 4, 1, 3, and 2. You could go correct me in the comments for that. I would love to know. But so now when I've selected engine number 4 and my start master is on, and you can see that your stealth power is on, you can then hit your engine start. You can see you hear some sounds and these 3 lights illuminates. You can then see that your N2 or N1 in this case rising. And I'm not really sure where to introduce fuel, but I just do around 25% N2 here. You can see it reached 25, and you want to go down here, flip the switch, and then you get introduced fuel. So you can now hear that your engine number 4 has started. Not sure why that light is on. I can turn that off. There you go. Now that landing light is on. You can see that you have now a stable engine number 4. You can do it in whatever order you want. I'm not really sure what order it should be in, but I just go 4, 1, 3, and 2. I'm gonna go with number 1. Then you want to hit your start, and it's the same procedure for all your engines. You select the engine you want to start, hit start on your engine selector. You wait for, in my case, around 25%. And there might be some other rules to that, I'm not too sure, but just waiting for 25%, and you can fire up number 1. And so this video will be in a chapter, so if you want to skip some parts, you can go ahead and do that. And so you can see that all these lights has stopped illuminating, if you want. I want to select number 3, start. We'll wait for around 25% here. and now we can introduce fuel. I'll do the same thing for number 2, so yeah, I'll be right back. So, when you've got all of your engines stable and every one of them, excuse me, is started, you want to obviously get power from the engines to not need the APU. So once your all of your engines are started, you can put your start switch into off. Your master start you can turn off. Then if you are used to flying the 737, you know that after start you will turn your ignition starter to continuous, which we'll do in this case, which again, I'm not a real pilot, this is kind of how I learned it, but when you're flying through clouds or stuff like that, you often want to have continuous ignition on, and then your engine will continuously ignite, which kind of sets the board. I also like to turn on flight start, and then we can go ahead and get power from the engines. That is down here in the electrical panel. Is here Gen 1 and Gen 4 in this case. You can then turn off your APU gen and turn off your APU. In case of any rainy weather or anything, you can turn on some anti-ice, which I will not need, but I will turn on some window heat. And then you can turn on your packs to get some air into the cabin. I don't care about the cabin air, just keep it at fresh. You can turn off your APU air because you don't have your APU running anymore. Since you have all 4 engines running, you can turn on all of your engine air. So you can now hear some stuff going on in the background. We can go ahead and we'll arm our emergency lights. And then we can put our taxi lights on. And then we're ready to taxi to the runway, shall we? So now I'm taxiing down here to runway 09 here in Planet City. When you take off, when you want to take off, and you have got a flight plan in or something like that, I might do another video on that, and or I might link a video from that into the description from somebody else. So to get your flight directors on, you can do that, and then turn on the other side. And on takeoff, we're gonna pitch to 10 degrees at first. So to kind of set your flight director to 10 degrees, you can press the red button here on the yoke, and that will be set to 10 degrees. To set your V speeds, or your takeoff speeds, we can use this little kind of flag down here. You can see for takeoff we can use flaps 18, 24, and 30. Under normal circumstances, you would normally just use flaps 18 on longer runways, but as on the city has a very short runway, I will set flaps at 24, so that'll be 2 notches down. And then we want to wait until our flaps has been set to 24. And then in the meantime, we'll line up, turn on our runway exit lights, we can turn on our landing lights, and I can also turn on my strobe lights and my wing lights and stuff like that. So once your flaps are set, you go down here and you just click this, you just click it, and then your speed bugs will be set. You can see here these two, you can see these 2 yellow things, that's going to be your V1 and then your rotate speed. And you also have, it also sets basically the limit where you're going to set your engines on takeoff or takeoff power. To turn on this, you can just put to on. So. And one more thing I'm going to mention, if you're doing it a more complicated way, if when you're flying from nav station to nav station using this, to kind of where in a normal aircraft this is where your map would be. This kind of shows you how to navigate. I'm not really sure how to explain it, and I personally don't have a name for it. So when you're flying from VOR to VOR, when this little switch says nav, it's navigating after this, if that even makes sense. But if you have a flight plan in and you're flying and you don't get why this thing won't show you the way to your waypoints, you gotta flip this over to nav. So you flip that, and then as I've got no flight plan in, this will just kind of show up as straight, I guess. So you've now set your V speeds, your lights are on, you are ready for takeoff. So I'll hold my brakes and I'll set power, release them, and then we'll push the engines up to the yellow bar here. The yellow
Speed alive, both sides.
So the FO was just talking to me there. 80 knots, so we'll release the pressure. And then we'll kind of do a little flight around central London.
V1.
Go V1, then rotate.
Rotate.
Now lift
V2.
off, then you lift off to approximately the
Rate to climb,
10
gear.
degrees mark. Go gear up, and I want to trim it to approximately 10 degrees. We'll do that to around 1,000 feet before we start pitching after speed and stuff. So it's beautiful here. So as I want to fly over London, I'm gonna turn right. So to about 1,000 feet is kind of just how I do it. It's I'm not really sure how they would do it in real life, but that's kind of it's just what works for me.
Safe high speed.
So,
Select flat 18.
So you can hear the FO talking to me, and then he says I want to select flaps 18, so that's what I'll do. So what works for me is to around 1,000 feet, maybe 2,000, something like that. You can then start pitching after speed, say you want to climb on 250 knots. Then you will select IAS here on your autopilot, and then it will fly for you. So that is pretty much it for the tutorial, and I hope you enjoyed it. If you found to enjoy it, I would love that you maybe left, say, a comment or something like that. And yeah, I would really appreciate some feedback. That would be amazing. And till next time, hopefully you enjoyed this video. Yeah, I'll see you another time. Hopefully you found this tutorial helpful. Leaving a like, a comment would be absolutely amazing for some feedback. Again, the aircraft will be linked in the description below. And thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.